what's going on, guys? We are back down here, made it to Florida, ready to get the 2025 season started. As you can see, we got a new ride this year, and I'm excited about it. I can't wait to show you guys this entire boat. I'm honored and really looking forward to being partnered with BassCat boats this year. I'm gonna be running the Puma STS. You know, I've heard such great things about this boat. The Puma is the one to have, and so far, I've really liked this boat. You know, seeing a lot of fast speeds with it. It handles incredibly, and just the whole layout is absolutely tremendous throughout the entire boat. I absolutely love it. But now we got the Blaster rig yet again, so proud to be partnered with Blaster again in 2025. And this is a great combo. You know, I'm looking forward to running this all year long. This is gonna be my first year in a BassCat, and I'm looking forward to that. You know, I'm ready for the change, looking forward to the new opportunity to work with such a great company who has such a great history in the fishing industry. You know, BassCat's been around for a long time, and they make the top boats in the industry. So let's dive into this boat, check out some of the key features, some of the electronics, all the goodies that I have going into this boat, and basically what I'm gonna be running all year long on the BassmasterElite series. All right, so first things first, let's start at the bow. You know, this is where we spend the majority of our time, you know, long days on the water, on that trolling motor, searching for fish, trying to find fish to catch during the tournament. And I have, yet again, the Minn Kota Quest. This is gonna be my second year running it. By far the best trolling motor I have ever had. This thing is super durable, super quick, you know, a real quick trolling motor, and it's super reliable. That's the biggest thing. You know, we really put these trolling motors to the test, no matter if we're down south fishing in some thick vegetation, beating them up in timber fields or anything like that. And even the big waters when we head north. The Quest was absolutely tremendous last season. I'm excited to run one again, and I'm looking forward to continuously running for many, many years. It's by far the best trolling motor I've ever had, and it's not even close to its competition. So let's check out what we have graph-wise this year. Kept it a little bit more simple. I'm only running 3 graphs on the boat this year. We have some limitations, some restrictions now, so changed it up, and I actually really like it so far. You know, I've only spent a few hours with my setup now, but I'm really liking how I laid this boat out and how everything looks and how it feels. All right, so up here front, like I said, real simple. Running only 2 units this year. I wanted to keep it clean, I wanted to keep it organized. And these 2 units right here, running on the Precision Sonar dual mount. You know, I've ran Precision Sonar mounts for 5, 6, 7 years now. It's been a great partnership, and they are super reliable. But this one, really looking forward to it. This is my first time ever running a 16-inch. This is the Humminbird Apex 16. Huge, bright, really crystal clear screen. This is gonna be focused for my 360, my side scan, which I don't use a whole lot up front, but basically 2D, 360, and mapping. You know, the Lake Master mapping is basically what's gonna allow me to find those contours while I'm fishing, motoring around on my Ultrex Quest. So having that big old screen is something that was an absolute no-brainer for me this year. And I'm really looking forward to it. That's a giant screen, and it really makes it easy the older I get. All right, so back here at the dash, yet again, another big screen, gonna run the Humminbird Apex 16. You know, I talked to a lot of anglers. You know, a lot of guys switched over to some 16-inch units last year, ran solos at the dash. So that's what we have here. Again, on the Precision Sonar mount, great mount, and it's a real clean look. You know, having that single unit at the dash, you know, everything is nice and neat right in front of you. You know, there's plenty of room on that graph to use mapping, 2D, side scan, down scan, all at the same time. Really liking that change, even though I've only had a few hours on it so far, but it is a nice system. So right here we have the whole BassCat layout, and you know, some boats are different. I specifically went with the Touchpad button for having a button system while also having a screen on my boat. You know, you have the option to go 2 sets of buttons or 2 screens. I wanted to have both. I wanted to try both. I wanted to see which one I would like more, and maybe even like this setup more than anything, having one of each. So looking forward to utilizing both of those this year. You know, each one will do the same features. It's just having that touchpad, having the buttons. It gives you a little bit of a different change to see what I like better. Like I said, it's my first year running a BassCat. So see what it is over the course of the year, and hopefully this is what I like the most, and I'll probably just continue running that 1-in-1. All right, so now to the back of the boat. What really makes this BassCat fly is the Mercury 250 engine. You know, I'm excited about running the Mercury yet again. and running out of Bob's Machine Shop jack plate. You know, I've been running Bob's for a few years now. By far the fastest jack plate I have ever ran. You know, anytime you're down here in Florida, you got that shallow water. Super key of having that jack plate to get you up on plane much faster. And especially also when you have a lot of weight in the boat. If you have multiple people, having that hydraulic jack plate is a key. But like we figured out last year, it is an absolute no-brainer to have a precision sonar leash. Crazy things happen on the water, accidents could happen at any moment. You want to protect yourself, you want to protect anyone that's in the boat with you, and you know, having that precision sonar leash just gives me that reassurance every time I go to the water. If you ever were to encounter a freak accident, that motor's not going to come into the back of the boat. You're going to be protected, you're going to be safe, you're going to make it home to your family and your loved ones time in and time out. And then, as you can see, I went with Raptors this year, the 8-foot black Raptors. You know, I really like the whole system of having the Minn Kota, the hummingbirds throughout the entire boat. The Raptors have the feature where they continuously go down. That's huge. You know, I really like that so far. The couple times I've been out getting to utilize it. It is nice to have it because, you know, you're constantly in boat wakes, things like that constantly want to move that boat around. But having that feature on the Raptors keeps you pinned down, keeps you in place, and it allows you to keep doing what you're doing up front, focusing on where you're trying to catch a fish. All right, so one thing I always add to my anchoring system, it's way up there, I know I'm a little short, but that is adding the Bass Fishing Electronics light. That's a no-brainer to put on your anchoring system because it makes life so much easier. You know, having to go out every day and put a light in the back of the boat, constantly having to remove it, just kind of gets annoying after a while. It's an inexpensive item, it's an absolute no-brainer because also having that, you now have a backup light in your compartment in case you ever needed it. Because, you know, we're in tournaments, we're fishing for a lot of money, we need to be able to take off with our lights on. So having a second light source in the back is a no-brainer for me anytime I'm hitting the water, fishing and competing on the Elite Series and any other tournament there is. I love that light. I've ran one now for about 4 years and I don't know how everyone doesn't have one because it makes life so nice and easy. All right, so as we dive into the back compartment, this is probably one of the most important things for us as anglers. It keeps us on the water. It allows us to continue fishing day in and day out. Can never have too much power in my opinion, and I do have a lot of it this year yet again, thanks to MillerTech Lithium. So over here on this side, as you can see, this is my cranking side. This is going to power my big motor. It's going to power my accessories, my electronics, my Livewells, and everything like that throughout the entire boat. I'm running two 12-volt, 135 amp hours in parallel. So basically what that is doing, it's giving me 270 amp hours to power all that throughout the entire boat. You're gonna run all day long. I'm pretty sure I have not seen below 75% yet, and I've probably been out 5 or 6 days. So that's a big thing for us as anglers to have that ample power all day long, constantly getting those voltage to the graph to see what we need to see as we're looking throughout the water, but also knowing you can get back at the end of a long day to the ramp to weigh in and weigh your fish and have a chance to win one of the BassmasterElite Series event. Now on the other side, you can see I also have 2 batteries over there. Those are going to be my trolling motor. Those are 36 volts, and 2 of them, they're 60 amp hours apiece. So in parallel, it's 120 amp hours. That's going to allow you to run all day long, 14, 15, 16-hour days. You can keep that trolling motor on high. If you're down south looking for beds this time of the year, you can go all day long. If you're up north, scoping around, constantly on that trolling motor, searching for suspended fish, those 2 batteries in parallel are gonna get it done. It's gonna give you that power all day long. So that's my system. It's really nice because it's super clean. I know the BassCat back compartment is a nice feature that I really like. You know, coming from different brands of boats, now in this, seeing how clean this is laid out, how easy it is to access everything. I really like this setup. It's very simple, very easy to get at. Everything is clearly aligned. You know, Bass Fishing Electronics knocked it out of the park. Wiring this boat, you know, keeping everything as clean as possible, labeled, and very easy access for me as an angler competing in tournaments. And then over there, on that side against the wall, I have the MillerTech. It's the dual charger. That's going to charge the batteries, so it'll charge 36 volt and a 12 volt system. So having that's a good combination to go in line with the MillerTechs as well. And then one other thing I do have in the back, this is new this year. You could probably see it from over there. It's the Precision Sonar Fish Guardian. I added that to the boat. It's my first year running it. Haven't got to use it because I haven't fished a tournament yet, but I really like it. So basically what I do is any of my Livewell additive, whether you're using G-Juice, Fish Life, anything like that, you fill this reservoir up and it's wired through the boat, and I have it drilled into my Livewell where I can constantly add G-Juice. Don't have to worry about making a mess anymore, unscrewing the cap of the bottle, having it spill, leak all over throughout the boat. It's a simple add, and I really like that because now I'm really taking fish care to the next level, always utilizing that feature. Constantly going to be using G-Juice more, constantly using the Fish Life, whatever I have kind of laying around is what I'll use. But it just kind of gives me that opportunity to take care of these fish much more. And it's at a push of a button. It's simple and easy. It's right here at my dash. So right here down on my panel, all I have to do is click this little button. And once I click the button, it'll shoot it into the Livewells, let the button go, and it'll stop. All right, so here's one thing that I keep in the back of my boat, which you don't see a lot of guys carrying. It's wrapped up in a paper towel. The bottle is still sealed. This is a quart of oil. Something so simple as this, in the back of your boat, having with you on the water can potentially get you back and in case of an emergency. You know, sometimes when it gets really hot in the summer, those big 4-stroke engines like to burn up some of the oil. And if you ever get an alarm, it's gonna put you in a governor mode where you can't run it, you gotta get it to shore, you gotta fill it up on the oil. A lot of times on the water, we can't get easy access to oil. Carrying a quart will literally save your day. You know, I heard a lot of guys last year run a little low on oil in some events. They didn't have it in the boat. So having a quart, no brainer. Keep it in the back compartment, keep it sealed. And it's one of those things that, like I said, could potentially save your day. So it'll be there. Hopefully I'll never need it, but it's always there in case I need it or another angler on the water that I may run into. All right, so one thing I want to talk about at my dash, this is a new feature for BassCat this year. It is adding a touchpad. You know, everyone knows the button system that they've used in the past. It's still there. If that's what you like, that's what you want. But now you have the opportunity to go to a touchpad system, and it does the same thing as your buttons will do, but it also kind of takes away all the extra things that are going to show your motor hours, your speeds, your stuff like that, and it keeps it really simple right here. And I want to show you real quick something that's a unique feature that I like on it. I unfortunately won't use it a lot being by myself in the Elite Series, but if I was a team tournament angler where I was constantly fishing with a partner, they have a culling feature on this touchpad where you can manually enter your fish for the day. I think that's really great because if you're fishing with 2 guys in a boat, one guy's kind of up there fishing, handling the boat, your partner could be in the back adding your fish weights. You have a 4-pounder, you add it in, you add all them in, and eventually it'll manually call for you. And then also you can set an alarm. It's a big feature I like a lot. You can set an alarm to go off maybe 30 minutes before you have weigh-in. That way it assures that you're always keeping track of your time. You get back, you never have to worry about being late. It's simple, but it's something that I really like. It's a unique feature about this touchpad that I think is a great add for your typical angler who's fishing a lot of team tournaments. And there's a lot of features, you know, you got your switches, you got your engine, all your data that goes throughout the boat, your water pressure, your RPMs, your trim, your fuel levels, and things like that. So it's all really neat, it's organized, it's simple, and it's right there for you to view all in one area. All right, so let's take a little dive in to my compartments, kind of see how I have my boat laid out, at least to start the season. And we'll see, obviously you got your rod box. This is where you're gonna hold, I don't know, 30, 40 rods. There's plenty of room in there. Gonna load those arc rods up, those arc reels in there for the season. Really nice, really organized. It's a super roomy, and I like the feature where you don't have any tubes. I can use the Evolve rod sleeves, so it is nice putting those sleeves on and just sliding them up in there. You got ample amount of room, especially when we fish a back-to-back tournament. You might sometimes pre-rig for the second one, and you don't ever want to touch those rods, leave them in the bottom. So there's plenty of room in that compartment, a lot of space for you to utilize that. And then over on this side, again, you can put some rods over here. I choose not to because of how big that is, how much ample space there is. This is just extra tackle. You know, I'm gonna keep some plastics in here. I'm gonna keep some spinner baits, life jackets, an extra rain suit, some swim baits. And then I got my forward-facing sonar box mount up front, kind of out of the way where you don't have to worry about anything bumping it, getting stuck up against it or anything like that. But really nice, really clean, really organized. I like the system that I got going on so far. So looking forward to constantly continue to keep playing with it and see, you know, some other type of layouts that I might utilize over the season and compare it as I go along. This will be my main compartment right here. It's gonna be pretty simple. You're gonna have your Sunline line bag full of line for a day on the water, you know, keeping a few extra spools if you ever have to re-spool. It's a no-brainer to put a fresh full spool line on. Got a couple extra bags. These are gonna be my day-to-day plastics in here. And then a couple 3700 and 3600 containers, basically holding my terminal stuff, some bladed jigs, some flipping jigs, some swim jigs. Yes, we're down south in Florida, so I got a lot of jigs in the boat right now. And then a couple like trailers and whatnot, but very, you know, nice and cleanly laid out, super simple. I also keep a kneeling pad in the boat, you know, preserve your kneecaps. You know, you're kneeling constantly on the carpet, having that in there. It's an arm's length away. It'll protect your knees over the course of your career. And then up front, these two are smaller compartments, but I do like it. I stuff, as you can see, 2 spare life jackets up in the front. So they're out of the way. They're ones I'm never gonna use, but they're just on the boat in case I have people fishing with me. This side, I got all my crankbaits, some Spro Little Johns, some square bills. I got my Spro traps, the Ruku shads in there, whole lot of those, especially as we're in Florida. This side is just basically some worms. I got a box of top waters, things like that. One thing that I do like up here, I don't know if you can really see it from there, but these boxes are in a tray. So having that tray is going to prevent those boxes from falling all over, going side to side or anything like that. That tray is going to keep them nice and organized. Very simple, just like that, nice and tight. And then before I forget, one unique feature with a BassCat is this little compartment right here. Going to keep a throwable cushion in there, a net storage. We don't get to use nets a lot on the Elite Series, but you know, I like to take people out fishing. Like to take some high school anglers, some college anglers out fishing from time to time. They get to use a net, so having it in the boat, if they come across the catch of their life, I want to make sure we get it in the boat and they don't have to worry about losing it. So having that there is nice. It's out of the way, never have to worry about it. I like that feature a lot for BassCat. If I was a team tournament angler, that's probably the best storage for a net I've ever seen on a boat. So that's nice to have, very easy access. All right, so before we get up to the front deck, BassCat has these nice tool holders right here. Super simple, but it's really nice. It'll hold 2 pliers on this side. Typically, I do have a second pair of scissors. I don't know where that went. I already lost one. Probably left it somewhere as I was retying one of these days. But that's nice. It's very clean. It's out of the way. And also this, I've already had like 8 questions on what this button does. It's not a button. All this is a Bob's seat plug. You could typically put a seat there or something like that. I just don't like to get water down in there, so I plug up all my holes throughout the boat when I'm not using them. It is kind of funny because I've barely had the boat for a few weeks now, and the amount of people that are already asked that is a lot. And then this right here is a BassCat cooler. I actually decided to go a different route this year with it. I'm not utilizing it as a cooler. BassCat is a second cooler, I'll show you in a minute. I just didn't feel the need for 2 coolers. Me specifically, I always carry a soft cooler with my day-to-day food, my day-to-day drinks. Now I would keep that next to me or next to the passenger seat, because then I always assure myself to eat it and drink it, which a lot of anglers don't do. So that's what I typically do, and the reason why I don't need 2 coolers. So what I do with this, I turned it into a terminal space, and it's gonna be very handy for day-to-day grabbing things on the fly. I have my Catch Commander scale in here, an extra towel. I got a bunch of scents, some reel spray, some markers, some extra pliers, some cutters. I got some cutters in case a hook gets stuck in you and you got to cut it out or anything like that. And then just your typical day-to-day plastics are gonna go in here. You know, today I might decide to throw a Mag 2 worm, I might throw a fluke stick, and I'm gonna throw a Slinky. So I'm gonna put them right in there. I know I'm gonna utilize those all throughout the day. very quick, easy access, and I like that setup. You know, it's kind of nice. It's a little day box. It's just something that's nice and organized, and I just kind of put them inside their own, that's a flambeau container, and it's just simple. You know, like I said, I didn't really find the need to utilize 2 coolers, so I might as well make good use out of it and keep it as a small day box. All right, so as we're sitting here at the dash, the cooler that I'm gonna actually use in the boat is down here below the center compartment, and it's a huge cooler. You can store a lot of stuff down here. I have my lunch in here that I have not eaten yet today, but I think that's also really nice and convenient at an arm's length away. I can continue to idle around, not have to get up or ever leave the steering wheel. I can grab things very easily, and it also has a little bit of storage up here for your car keys, sunglasses. I got some Humminbird Lake Master chips stored in there nicely, some cloths, and then a notebook for any time I'm on the water, if I want to take a note on the conditions for the day, a bite that I might be on, and I've kept that for about 3-4 years now. So it's a small storage compartment, but it's nice, it's convenient, and like I said, again, everything's at an arm's length there. And I get to store my water jug right here, which fits perfectly, so I actually make sure I drink it all day long. All right, so one thing I want to show you guys, underneath the seats of a BassCat boat, they actually have storage on both sides. As you can see, I keep my spare prop in there, some tie-down lines, a trolling motor prop, and a block of wood, because if you ever need to get your prop off from the boat, you better have a block of wood so you can get it off. Also, I have the prop wrench in there as well. It's out of the way and never needed, hopefully, so that's why I store those there. And then on this side, keep more day-to-day things. I got my blaster cans sealed up nicely in a bag. We got some dude wipes just in case of an emergency. I got a culling beam, which again, it's super easy. It's right there. It's by the Livewells, at an arm's length away. Fire extinguisher, some TP, and probably most importantly, a first aid kit just in case we ever run into an emergency on the water. Hopefully I never hook myself, because that does not feel fun. And all right, so in the back of the boat, we have both compartments, one on each side. Again, these are just more storage. You know, on this side, I'm kind of keeping my spare parts. I got some tools, got a lot of my boat paperwork in there, just little things that honestly I've probably had carried in the boat for many, many years. You hope to never use them. Got a few wrenches in there, things like that. Stuff that if you are ever on the fly, you need to tighten something, fix something. It's all there. I keep some trebles, some swim bait hooks, my GoPro, and probably most importantly, to protect your skin, a couple bottles of sunscreen, because we know my fair skin needs that. But like I said, very small, simple. Not a whole lot goes back here, you know, as I try to never come to the back deck as much as possible. But now on this side, I do keep a little bit more. These are the majority of my plastics. I really like laying a lot of my most used plastics out in a box, you know, ones that I use a lot in a day. As you see, my Zoom Z-Craw's got plenty of colors, both the junior and the regular size. I like the box option because it's just quick and easy for me. If I'm gonna use the bait, I feel like it's easier to see what colors where, rather than digging in a bag and trying to find a black and blue amongst 30 other bags. So that's one system I've always done with a lot of my plastics that get used very frequently and in high numbers. And it's very nice. You can keep 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You could probably get an 8th box in there. And if I wanted to, a 3600. Plenty of room back there. And try to keep the plastic in the back so the weight kind of balances out throughout the boat as much as possible. Then I got these little compartments here. I got a sunscreen bottle in this one. I think that side I have some plugs or something like that for the Livewell for any time I'm running it on recirc. But nice, very organized, and simple. Like that's what I like the best. Very easy to keep everything nice and neat throughout the entire boat. All right, last but not least, hopefully I'm doing this a lot this year, diving deep into the Blaster Livewells, pulling in some big bags all year long on the BassmasterElite series. Really love the setup of the BassCat Livewells. You know, this is something that I think goes very overlooked, especially when you're at a weigh-in, you're on a dock, we can't weigh our fish by trailer. If this seat wasn't here, I could actually push this compartment up, it'll go on this one, and it's gonna provide a shield. Those fish can't get out while I'm loading my bag up. I think having that unique feature is very nice. and essentially it's going to preserve me from having any uh-ohs while trying to take my fish up to weigh-in. But the BassCat Livewells are super big, super deep. You can see it's about a mile to get to the bottom of that down there. Hopefully I don't put any little ones in there because they're going to get stuck at the bottom and I have to go basically swimming to find them. So 5-pounders only this year is what we're going to go with. All right, I know I'm not the tallest guy in the world, but let me show you how deep I am by just having to dive fully in here. Yeah, I'm just touching the bottom. That's a pretty big live well. I really hope I can see 30 pounds going there one day this year during a tournament. Maybe even 40, who knows? Let's shoot high, dream big. All right, guys, well, I appreciate you guys for following along, checking out the brand new BassCat Puma STS. The blaster rig is ready to go. The season is coming very quickly. I'm excited about it, and I'm looking forward to it. I appreciate you guys for following along on all my social media platforms. Be sure to hit that follow button, subscribe to my channels. Basically watch the entire season all year long. It's gonna be a long year, it's gonna be a fun year, and I'm looking to really rip around throughout the entire Elite Series in the new BassCat Puma STS.